we are now joined with West Bloomfield Township Clerk, our very good friend, Debbie Binder. We are so thrilled to have her with us this morning. So, Debbie, how are you? Wow, there's all three of us in here. I'm new to this. It does look nice, Dave. You were right. So, Debbie, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing? Good to see you this morning, and thank you for helping spread the important word about elections.
Hey, Debbie, what about the surprise? Look at Erica Jones right here with you and me. I thought it was going to be you and me today, and then there's our good friend, West Bloomfield's own Erica Jones back in the mix. We are so happy she's here.
Is homegrown and is wonderful of a representative of the community as there is. Nice to see you, Erica.
Well, thank you. I don't think anyone is a better representative of the community than you. So let's get right into it. Talk about absentee ballots. What advice do you have for us?
Okay, my advice for absentee ballots and absentee voting is that, remember, it is a right protected in Proposal 3 of 2018 that was overwhelmingly approved by the voters, that everyone has a reason to vote by absentee for no reason. So if you are interested in voting by absentee ballot, you may obtain an absentee ballot up till 4 p.m. the Monday before the election at the clerk's office. You can't mail them after this Friday at 5 p.m., but you can come to Town Hall up to 4 p.m. on Monday and request one. It's a great way to vote. Some people prefer it. People prefer one way or the other. They either like to vote in the polls, they like to vote by absentee. I tend to be a poll voter because I like the energy, I like my sticker, but I certainly am comfortable with the process of voting absentee. I did during the years of COVID, and I do want to remind people that it is their right to vote by absentee ballot. I also think it's important to remind people, when returning your ballot this time, we're getting close to Election Day. We're a week and a day from the election, and we are seeing some pretty significant delays with the mail. So at this point, I would return your ballot to Town Hall by, either bring it into the clerk's office, place it in the drop boxes that are open 24/7 and checked multiple times a day, or, if you do rely on them, wouldn't hesitate another day. I really would get it back as soon as you can.
Debbie, I know from my business activity, I'm not using the mail the way I used to. And no knock on the U.S. Postal Service. It just is, because of COVID, it's just running way behind. And what used to take a day or two, now, if people don't know this, I send a lot of mail back and forth, but what used to take a day or two can now take a week or sometimes even longer. What's going to happen if you respond via mail? Is there some kind of a deadline, or does it depend when it's postmarked, or how does all that work?
The deadline is, and the only difference is if for a military voter in terms of postmark, but for everybody that's not a military or overseas voter, that ballot does have to be in the clerk's office by 8 p.m. on election eve. So I can't stress enough. And going forward, November, which will be a very big and important election, don't wait. We have a sticker. It was delayed on the beacon, but we have a sticker and we have a saying here, #don't delay, #return your absentee ballot today. People planning for November, request your ballot ahead of time if you haven't already requested one on the dual application that was sent out. Request it going forward, and make sure that when you do get that request, you return it as early as you can. Do not wait, especially if you're relying on the mail to get that ballot back to us. The mail, Dave, what we're finding is, like everyone else, they're short-staffed and they're trying, but they are running behind, and we have had issues with getting that mail. We are sending someone to pick it up daily in addition to what comes on the truck, but we just can't stress enough. If you're relying on the mail, plan way ahead. And if you have the option to bring your ballot to Town Hall, we strongly recommend choosing that option.
So, Debbie, what are we expecting turnout to be like for this upcoming election?
Erica, that's a good question. I had expectations, and I'm a numbers person. I love to sit there and look at those numbers, and they tell a story. And the story this time isn't making sense to me. There just seems so far has been a very low turnout election. So I have two possibilities for that. One is there's people like me who prefer to vote in the polls. They've been home during COVID and voting absentee, and we're going to be busy in the polls on Election Day. The other possibility is sometimes things change habits for voters. And in March of 2020, as candidates kept dropping out of the presidential primary, people would come in and spoil their ballot. And that may have had a habit change that people are holding that ballot for longer. So I'm not sure what we're going to see, but I can tell you right now that the turnout is much lighter than I would have expected for this election. And it's not just in West Bloomfield. I've spoken with all of my colleagues. I am the president of the Oakland County Clerks Association, and I work with a lot of different colleagues, and they're all finding the same thing. It's just it's so far turnout absentee has been slower. I just don't know what to say. Are we going to be busy in the precincts on election day, or are we going to get a lot of absentee ballots as we get closer to election day? The answer is we'll see. I just don't know. Very
well, I mean, it may be a little surprising, but it's not all that unusual that a primary in the middle of a warm, hot summer while people are doing their things and they're at the beach and they have other priorities. Maybe, listen, I'm not asking for your speculation. I'm just saying maybe there's some people a little frustrated with what's been going on over the last couple of years, whatever. Get out and vote, okay? Because here's the thing, for the people that are watching, the people that watch this show, Debbie, they're the ones that really care. Just think about it this way. If there are fewer people vote, guess what? Your vote counts more. It does. So it's really important that if all this is important to you, and it should be, that you get out and vote in the primary.
Well, I wouldn't say that your vote counts more. Your vote matters more when there's a smaller
Okay.
because your vote counts the same, one vote. So your vote would count, but it does matter more. I do think people don't understand necessarily the primary, and they don't tend to engage. And what they need to understand is in a primary, you are selecting who's going to represent the party on that general ballot in November. So that primary vote is very important for people. And that's what we are hearing from some who come to the window that didn't know it was an election or didn't think it was an important election. So I can't say enough to encourage people. This is your chance to be heard with who's going to be on your ballot in November. So you're right, Dave, get your voice, get out there, get your voice heard. Otherwise, you're leaving your voice to many fewer people.
Well, and I didn't mean to imply that your vote's going to count twice or anything like that, but
I know you didn't. I just think people don't realize it matters more, but it doesn't count differently. They don't realize an absentee ballot, a vote counts the same as a precinct vote. They both count equally.
So get out and vote. Make sure you're heard. I mean, we broadcast and we're at the candidates night for the state house office here in our area. There were a number of candidates, very interesting debate, and it is important. You're going to be deciding who is going to be represented in November in this primary. One of the other really interesting side stories here with all that's going on with West Bloomfield Middle School, that's a precinct that hasn't been open during construction. What's going on with the folks at Precinct 1?
Precinct 1 will continue through this year for sure to vote at Chico Elementary. There's a good chance. It has worked out well as a polling location. The parking's a little bit closer. There's a good chance that as long as the school district doesn't object, and we haven't spoken with them yet, that we will continue to use Chico instead of moving Precinct 1 back to the previous Orchard Lake Middle School, now West Bloomfield Middle School. So stay tuned. At this point, the voters, just to avoid confusion right now, they're at Chico for the rest of this year for sure. But I think there's a good chance that we will continue to keep them voting at Chico for the future.
Debbie, I thank you for your time today. One final question. Erica might want to ask you something, but there may be a lot of people that have not ventured back to town hall for quite a while because, with COVID, they maybe just didn't want to come by. Can you just let people know what the current status is at town hall as they may be coming in to visit you for the election?
Well, town hall is open. We're open almost all of the time. A very short period we were closed. We do follow CDC guidelines, which right now masks are discretionary. So somebody does not have to wear a mask to come to town hall. We welcome everyone who wants to do business at the clerk's office to come in and conduct their business as they would. I do want an important point to bring up is that we will be open next Saturday, July 30th, for absentee voting from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. all day. So just follow the signs to the clerk's office and come in. We will be happy to greet you next Saturday, July 30th, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for those whose our regular hours may not work for a working schedule. We are open daily from 8 to 4:30. And then that expanded hours for absentee voting on July 30th, 8 to 4.
Debbie, I was just thinking, switching gears here a little bit, if you don't mind. We talk to you so often, and we're always talking about your job, but let me talk to you a little bit about your life outside of this. It's summer, it's nice. Let's a little more lighthearted. Can you tell us, has there been a highlight of your summer so far, or something you're looking forward to? I just want to talk on a different note here for a sec.
So I would say, actually, I went on a boat for probably the first time, and that was my summer. This is a clerk's busy season, and we kind of joke that people think that an election, you put out a ballot box and then you count them at the end of the day. It's 2 months of preparation, 2.5 months of preparation, 2 weeks of follow-up. But I do plan on taking some time off in August, knowing that November, the election for November will start very quickly in September, and we will be busy. So I do plan on I'm going to a wedding in Holland, and I may take a little vacation with my son. Nothing specific planned, but I'm going to do a nice little staycation at least and take some time off in August, because we have been busy for the last 2 months straight.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear you'll have some time outside the clerk's office.
All right. Well,
visit you, Erica.
Debbie,
happy to have you back. It's such a friendly face to see in the community.
Isn't it great? What's really amazing is to see the way that Erica has grown professionally. She came with us, and worked with us when she was right out of high school, and then through her college career, and has developed into an incredible broadcaster. And I'm just so happy that we have some time with her before she goes off to her next venture. So good to see one of our own doing well. Don't you think, Debbie?
I think it's just wonderful. I've actually known Erica since she was a little girl, and I have seen every stage of development, and she's just always been a dynamic person with a fabulous personality, and she's just really blossomed into what she's chosen to do. I do love seeing our homegrown people succeed. We have a young homegrown gentleman that did an internship in the clerk's office, and he's now working here as a full-time temporary election worker. So it's just good to see our local homegrown kids grow up and be such contributing members to our community.
And if you have kids and you're watching, your grandkids that are at school, recommend that they get a hold of us, or whatever department here in West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Eagle Harbor, Sylvan Lake, in our communities. Call us, let us know, because we are really excited about having graduates or recent graduates or students that are working through their collegiate years to have an opportunity, and they may be home for the summer. Whatever the case is, don't be shy. Get a hold of us and take advantage of your local community and your connections. And we've met a lot of great people.
And Dave, while you're talking to that population, working an election or even helping out ahead of the election is a great opportunity for our young people to get involved. It's a really tremendous resume or college app opportunity. It's something that looks great to employers, that looks great to colleges, that you engage at the level of getting involved in elections. So while you're looking for a place for those youngins to get involved, send them to us as well to work in the election world.
Debbie Binder, do you need help with next week's election or just the fall?
Just really for fall. Right now, we're in good shape going into this one, but for fall, we always need to get new people engaged. So we have people who retire after 15 years of doing this. I always tell you, it's a long day. Everyone complains and everyone comes back. It's a great way to give back to the community, and the people really do enjoy it.
All right, West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder, call her, go to the website, easy to find, and she's all over social media, better than almost anybody, Eric, because she's really great at it. Debbie, thank you very much for being with us today.
So, thank you, guys. You have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.